I want to welcome everybody to the monthly community forum for the Academy for Addiction and Mental Health Nutrition. Today, we have a very special guest who is one of our alumni presenting about her practice and the ins and outs of actually doing amino acid therapy in the real world. Before we get started, however, I would like to do introductions. I am Christina Veselak. I am the founder and director of the Academy. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist and have been for 40 years working in the addiction field as well as with general mental health issues. And I am a mental health nutritionist. So, with that, let's get started. Mary, would you like to introduce yourself?
I am Mary Travestino. I live at the Jersey Shore. I just graduated Brookdale Community College with human service and addiction degree, headed for a board certification in human service counseling and implementing I'm a functional nutritionist and implementing that in my first recovery center with the guidance of Christina and seeing miracles with nutrition and amino acid therapy. So, Jan, I'm so excited to hear what you have to say.
All right, Kathy.
Okay, sorry guys. I'm Kathy Rose. I am from just outside the Nashville area of Tennessee, and I am a functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner, mind body eating coach, and working on website and client building and all things business building. So I'm really excited to hear what Yana has to say.
All right, glad to have you, Kathy.
Glad to be here.
Charisse. Let's see if your connection works well enough.
Hi, sorry, it was in a bad spot. So I'm Charisse. I'm out in Northwest Arkansas. I am a certified master life coach and energy coach, certified GAPS practitioner and holistic health specialist, and starting to implement the amino acid therapy into my programs and loving it.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad you're here with us, Charisse. All right, Yana, welcome. And why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your background, who you are, and kind of how you got to where you are today. And then you get to tell us all about your practice.
Hi, very good to be here. My name is Yana Veller. I'm calling in from Tel Aviv, Israel. And I'm actually a serial entrepreneur. I have been working in multinational corporations. I've been a VP sales for 15 years. Nothing to do with amino acid therapy. At a certain stage, I got really interested in functional medicine because of a family history of chronic disease. And I actually started working with my grandfather, and then I got an idea. I wanted to actually form a startup that would help people with chronic disease really get back in control of their health. And I was looking for ways to help people. Mainly, people I was working with were people with diabetes. And I was looking for ways in order to make this whole process really effective. And that's how I learned about Christina and about amino acid therapy. Right now, I'm totally dedicated to working with people, mainly women, 40 plus, with anxiety, depression, ADHD, and fatigue. That's actually the niche that I have been working with for the last 2 years. And I have seen tremendous results with amino acid therapy. The fact that people can get results really, really fast is amazing and gives them so much resilience and so much power in order to really commit to a lifestyle change, because my whole program is basically based on a very, very deep lifestyle change. I'll tell you a bit more about the program. So the way I work is people come to me and we do diagnostics. Okay, diagnostics is actually, we do the amino acid chart. We see what these balances there are. I do an intake. They tell me about what's bothering them. And when I have the whole blueprint, when I understand the situation, I have an understanding of, okay, what do they have to do? What amino acids do they have to take right now? So,
And Yana,
yes,
this is all on Zoom, or is any of this in person?
this is all on Zoom because most of my clients are in the US, Canada, and Australia. I have clients here in Israel, and I actually had one client with whom I did meet one-on-one at the beach. Actually, we were doing the sessions on the beach because I live at the sea. And this was actually in the framework of the 6-week program, which I'll tell you about a bit later. So this all happens 99% of the time over Zoom. So we do the diagnostics. I actually send them all the supplements and cofactors, etc., that they have to order. They get them at home. And then the next step is I take them on a 1-week program, okay? A 1-week program where I take them hand by hand and we trial each and every amino acid separately in order to see how it affects their condition, how it affects their, let's say, whatever they're dealing with. So what we do is we start trialing, as Christina teaches us, really, really low doses. And we do it step by step. And the results are amazing. I had a lady. I had a lady that was actually had family in Ukraine, and this whole situation with the war was really, really put her really out of balance until she was in a situation where she had to go to the ER, like mental ER, where she got prescribed with the benzos and SSRIs. And she didn't sleep for 3 months. She had nightmares, horrible nightmares, and she was completely depleted. And when we started working, within 3 days, and it sounds like totally crazy, right? But within 3 days, this lady started sleeping, okay? Sleeping through the night. And this is amazing. And without the aminos, it would not be possible. So we start the process of trialing, which takes 1 week. And after that process, during that process, I actually discuss with my clients a few important topics. It's like nutrition, it's sleep, and it's toxins. However, during this week, we do not have a lot of time to go like really, really to drill down into these topics. So they get a basic understanding of, let's say, the functional medicine approach on these 3 pillars. However, if they're interested into going deeper into 5 pillars of health, which I consider sleep, diet, toxins, social interactions, and physical activity, they have an option to continue to a 6-week program. During the 6-week program, we really drill down actually into the chronic diseases as well. So usually when people come to me, they do not come with one single problem. Okay, this problem, it is rooted in some kind of a chronic disease. Okay, so taking care of that chronic condition really helps them to get their, let's say, get their joy back, get their understanding, their feeling of, okay, I can really thrive, I can be happy, I can feel healthy, I can sleep, I can have energy. So during the 6-week program, we really do a deep dive into the 5 pillars. And of course, we also do the NAQ.
Explain what that is. Please explain what the NAQ is.
Okay, during the NAQ is actually a very, very extensive questionnaire that covers over 300 questions, which actually cover a lot of functional organs in our body, let's say liver, thyroid, kidneys, allergies, etc., etc. So we can get a very, very good picture of what's going on with the whole body, because I see a person as an ecosystem, okay, and all the things are interconnected. And if we can get this puzzle all together, then in my opinion, that's the best way to give my clients an optimal result, an optimal and quick result. And I'm so thankful to Christina, because due to the knowledge that I got from Christina, I'm really able to give them a result, a really tangible result within a couple of days, which is amazing. Because you can change your eating habits, right? You can start exercising a bit, but usually it takes a couple of months until you can really take the fruits of the trees, right? And here with the aminos, when you know what exactly needs to be really nourished in our brain, we can really, really help people in a very, very fast way. And this gives so much strength to people, because then they understand that they can do it, that it's doable, and it gives them also this willpower battery that we have. It gives them an opportunity to really commit to the process and really do the work, because it's not easy. Lifestyle changes are not easy, and changing thinking patterns that they've had for 30 years is not easy at all. Changing the way they eat, etc., etc., very challenging. But we have the tools. We have the tools to really help them out and make this process really easy and fun. I'm also a graduate of Behavior Design Lab in Stanford. Maybe you've heard about BJ Fogg. He's a New York best-selling author of Tiny Habits. He actually is an expert in behavior design, and he has studied behavior and the ways that help people to acquire habits in a fast and easy way. So this knowledge also helps me to help my clients actually acquire new habits in an easy and, let's say, fun way.
Nice.
So that's about it.
Ah, well, thank you, Yana. Can you please tell us a little more in detail about your Ukrainian client, like what the actual process was during that week, how many times you met with her, what amino acids you trialed, which ones ended up working? Because it's really
Yeah,
fascinating.
sure. So actually, I met with her for the diagnostics. We did the chart. Okay, I took the intake with all her health history, and she had some health issues in her childhood, some trauma. She had a very, very difficult marriage, a very difficult divorce, um, and a quite toxic relationship when we met. So I actually do the whole health intake during the 1.5 to 2 hour intake meeting when we do the diagnostics. And then I, of course, see the blueprint. And we started with a tryptophan for sleep. I put her on a very, very, let's say, strict diet because turned out that she's allergic to eggs, and eggs had a very, very strong impact on her mental health. During this week, I also asked them to fill in a food mood diary, which means every day they send me a log. They send me a log of what they ate, how they felt, and what they drank. Okay. So when I go over this food diary, I can actually link some things. And what I saw is that on one evening, she drank a glass of wine, and then the day afterwards, she had a panic attack. Okay. So I thought, okay, maybe there is a connection. Maybe there is a connection between the wine and the panic attack. So when I met her, I asked her, how do you usually react at wine? Did you ever see this happen to you after drinking wine in the past? She didn't know. But then I told her, okay, let's try to drop wine for a while, and let's see if your panic attacks come back. And she would have panic attacks 3 times per week at least. She had no panic attacks since we met. Nothing. So we actually started on tryptophan. Tryptophan really helped her sleep. I wanted her to take magnesium. There was a little bit of a problem there because she would always forget to take magnesium. And actually, what I see with some of the clients, and maybe you experience that as well, that they forget. Sometimes they forget to take their supplements. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And during this week, okay, I really work on setting these hooks during the day where they remember to take their supplements. So there are certain hooks we go over a daily routine of a person, and we try to find a hook that will remind the person to take the supplements at that period of the day when they need to take them.
That's part of the tiny habits process, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes. And it's very helpful because, when we have reminders on our phones, etc., we don't really form these new neural pathways, these new habits. But when there are these natural strong hooks during your day and you celebrate, so the whole process of tiny habits is actually to celebrate. Like in order to form a habit, BJ's research actually shows, and he actually did research on over 100,000 people. It shows that when a behavior is directly linked to a positive emotion, this allows our brain to form a habit. And the stronger the feeling, the stronger the positive emotion, the faster this behavior will become automatic. So what we do is we actually try to find hooks and really implement these habits into their day-to-day life. And by being in contact with them throughout this week and really being really in close contact with them, I can really understand, okay, what's going on during the day, what's going wrong, where can we make adjustments, etc., etc. So by the end of the week, they're actually ready to go into the world, and they have all the basic skills and the whole program to follow, and they do just fine.
That's amazing. So Kathy asked, how did you learn that she was allergic to eggs, and what symptoms, what mental health symptoms actually result from her eating eggs?
The diary, that's the diary. So actually, when I see in the diary, okay, I ate eggs this morning, and after before I ate the eggs, my anxiety was 4, and after she ate eggs, within an hour, her anxiety was 8, and then I ask you, okay, what happened to you? Is there something going on with you? Is there something going on in your life? Like, is there something stressful? And she says, no, nothing is going on. Then okay, I think, okay, maybe it's the eggs. And then we try eggs again. And then she says, okay, this happened again, so no eggs.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's my favorite way of food allergy identification, actually. And that's what's worked really well in my life, is just really connecting the dots.
But what I want to share with you is that this really close contact with the client and really learning their daily routine, learning what's bothering them, what are they doing, drilling really down, it really helps. It really helps in order for me to be able to help them better, in order for me to be more efficient with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you work with them, how long? You meet with them every day during that first week, and how long?
No, I don't meet with them every week, every day. I actually, after the diagnostics, they purchase all the vitamins and aminos, etc. When they get them, they tell me, okay, 4 days before they're about to get them, they tell me, okay, within 4 days, I'm going to have everything you asked me to order. Okay. So I tell them, okay, I'll see my schedule where I can schedule them in. And then I tell them, okay, we're going to start on, I don't know, August 10th. We start on August 10th. I give them instructions. Okay, tomorrow morning you wake up. As soon as you wake up, you write to me. They write to me on WhatsApp. I'm awake. Okay. Then I ask them. Okay, for instance, if she's dealing with anxiety, I ask her, okay, how is your anxiety now? 0 to 10. She tells me, okay, it's 8. Then I tell her, okay, now you open the capsule, you swish it in water, you swish it in your mouth, you swish it in your mouth, you swallow it. Within 20 minutes, I asked her, how is your anxiety now? And she tells me, okay, my anxiety is still 8 or whatever. And then I tell her, okay, you add another half capsule. And that's how we do it. So we are constantly messaging on WhatsApp. And then at the end of the week, we have a half-an-hour meeting where we actually debrief on everything she learned and on how to continue for the next 4 weeks. Because in the next 4 weeks, I want to see her for a follow-up. Yes, Kathy.
Thanks so much for sharing all this, Yana. I do appreciate it. A couple of questions about the trialing. So you get her going that first morning, and until she reaches a state where she's feeling maybe that the anxiety comes down a little bit. Say you're using 5-HTP, and then do you work with her later in that day for a second dose? Do you check in with her regularly, every couple of hours throughout that day? And then do you check in with her each day? And are you only trialing the one amino acid?
Yes, so actually what happens is, in order for me to understand the exact effect from, let's say, 5-HTP, I do want to have a clear picture. So I try not to mix them, okay? I could, for instance, if there are sleep problems, I could go with magnesium and tryptophan, but I would not say magnesium, I would not trial on the same day tyrosine, tryptophan, and magnesium. You understand? I try not to mix them. And if we trialed 5-HTP in the morning and we reached a state of 3, anxiety, for instance, of 3, okay? And I feel, and she reports that she's feeling fine. There are no side effects. She does not feel anything strange or out of regular after taking the aminos. Then I say, okay, in 4 hours, you take another capsule, or 2 capsules, whatever made her feel this 3 in anxiety, right? And then the next day, we don't take a 5-HTP anymore.
Oh,
We trial another amino because I want to see the effect of that specific amino. You understand? I want to see how that amino really affects her situation.
so are you going to trial each amino acid on the ATC, or only the ones that she shows that she has deficiency in?
Of course, only the ones that I see on the blueprint that she's depleted on. Of course,
Okay.
only the ones that she needs.
So if she shows that she needs GABA, say, as well, um, but you don't give her the 5-HTP, but her anxiety comes back during that day, and you trial the GABA, and the GABA works too, then do you combine the two, or do you find out which one works better, or do you, what would your process be in that case? Or, I mean, obviously if it didn't work, then you'd know that the 5-HTP was better. I'm just trying to understand the process of, for my own benefit, because I ran into a client that was up and down all day with his anxiety, taking the supplements, and not trusting them, and like getting all in his head about them. So, and he wanted to trial something else, and we ended up like taking different ones during the day, and it just kind of got a little messy. So just curious, so if you did HTP one day, worked good, GABA the next day, and it worked good, would you have her pick which one worked better, or would you trial on the third day doing them both? Or what would your solution be there?
So actually, when I get her blueprint, I actually have a plan for her, okay? A plan for her day.
And
What
when
I
you,
want her,
what are you using for a blueprint?
the amino acid chart,
Okay.
okay? So when
Yeah.
I have when I have the picture of, okay, what's going on with her brain, right? I already have a picture for myself of how, in my opinion, her intake of aminos should look like during that day, right? So the whole process is actually focused on bringing me on day 5 or day 6 in a situation where I give her all the aminos scheduled and then she takes them all according to schedule, and then we see how it affects you all together. You understand? But as soon as I know that GABA, okay, does not, that she's not very sensitive to GABA, because I have a sensitivity to GABA, and I'm very, very, let's say, very slow with GABA. I try to give GABA in very, very low doses. So as soon as I see that I trial GABA on that GABA day, and GABA is fine, I implement GABA in the overall schedule at the end of the trialing process. So at the end, during the 2 last days, it's actually the 2 last days when we take everything what she needs to take according to schedule, and we see how it works all together. You understand?
Okay,
Did
so
I
if
answer your question?
yeah, pretty much. So just for clarification, so if someone needed tyrosine, 5-HTP, and GABA, you would trial them each day separately on 5-HTP one day, tyrosine the next day, say, GABA the third day, and say she got a positive effect from all of them, but like anxiety didn't go down, but she had more focus with the tyrosine, you know, whatever it might be, but she found benefit from all of them. Then those last 2 days, you would space them out and have her take all 3 of those in the course of a day, spaced out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually, from the beginning, I actually already have a schedule, okay? In the
Okay.
morning, she takes 5-HTP until 3 p.m., let's say. Afterwards, she takes, like in the evening, she takes tryptophan. She takes tyrosine at 1 o'clock because she goes to university. She needs to focus. She needs L-theanine because she's very, very stressful times. She has like a monkey brain. So everything, I have this whole schedule in my mind written down at the beginning, but I do not implement the whole schedule at once.
Right. Okay.
Because I want to make sure that there are no side effects and no, let's say, adverse effects of each amino. Because if I would give them all at once, I couldn't know what's
Right.
causing it.
Right. And then if, say, she shows on the ATC that she doesn't get an effect, say, or that she needs, say, GABA, but she doesn't actually get an effect from it after trialing up to a certain point, do you just assume that she doesn't need the GABA, or do you look into cofactors at that point, and do you start adding in the cofactors with her, which would maybe seem to take more than a day to see if it's helpful?
So with GABA, you know, we have an alternative with that could be L-theanine. And to be honest with you, I did not have anyone who could not tolerate GABA.
Well, I was just using that as an example. As you know, the bigger question was, if someone doesn't have an effect from any particular GABA, do you work with them during that initial week on bringing in cofactors to help support, you know, whatever they, you know, whether it be zinc or B6 or anything, you know?
Zinc and B6, I actually, when the profile is right, when the profile is suitable, I also do the pyroluria test, because during the intake, I ask all these questions, like, where do your parents come from? Like, I see on the person also if she has a very pale skin, etc., etc. You can sense whether pyroluria could be affecting her mental health. And then if we do the pyroluria test, of course, we can see whether there is a need for B6 and zinc. Also, what I do usually, most cases, I give them a list of blood tests that they need to go do. And usually in that blood work, I usually request TSH, like thyroid, and some of the vitamins, like vitamin D, for instance. If you don't have enough vitamin D, you cannot really absorb anything. And it's very important to have a certain amount of vitamin D present in order to be able to really absorb. So I asked them to do the blood work as well. So when they come in after this, for this week, I already know whether they need, for instance, whether their cholesterol, for instance, is too low. Okay, and if their cholesterol is too low, then okay, I need them to take something in order to absorb fat better. Okay, so
Mhm.
and from the food diary, I can also see what are the proportions. Okay, if somebody does not eat fat at all,